Welcome back everybody to another episode of the GC Informer. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula, bringing you one bad bit of news, well, one annoying bit of news, and one nice bit of news. We'll get the annoying one out of the way with EA just being disingenuous and awful. I say that because that's how I interpret this statement. Anyway, Battlefront 2, as you know, was a bit of a shit show and started off a massive loot box controversy which has spread worldwide, and oh my goodness am I kind of glad that it did personally, but regardless, EA have come out with a statement and they're using Mr. Soderlund, whose first name I forget, as the sort of the poster boy of this, saying that they made a mistake, they were wrong, and they're going to learn. I don't believe them. I genuinely don't. This is going to be going wildly into opinion territory here. But based on their past actions, the fact that they have done apologies for other practices beforehand and just not learned their lesson at all, they've not changed their practices at all to match these apologies that they've made, I'm going to go with them not changing any behaviours, not sort of learning their lesson, and just generally being considered the pariahs and the arseholes of the gaming industry. Peter Soderlund, that's his first name, goes on to say that he'd be lying. I'm going to read off the screen and put this on screen anyway. I'd be lying to you if I said that what's happened with Battlefront and what's happened with everything surrounding loot boxes and these things haven't had an effect on EA as a company and an effect on us as management. And we can try and shy away from it and pretend like it didn't happen, or we can act responsibly and realise that we have made mistakes and try to rectify and learn from them. You call these mistakes, guys. You call them mistakes like it was an accident that you deliberately fucked this game just so you could shovel your loot boxes and your microtransactions in there. Really wasn't though, was it? You knew full well what you were fucking doing. Wasn't a mistake. Wasn't an accident. Something that you did very deliberately. And if this hadn't been Star Wars, then it would still be in place. It'd still be exactly the same as it was when it launched. But because you did it Star Wars, you fucked the Star Wars fans off, you kinda messed it up. He then goes on to say, we got it wrong, and as a result we had to take very quick and drastic actions to turn everything off. And we've since worked and redesigned the progression system. People seem to appreciate what we've done, players are coming back, and we're seeing stronger engagement numbers. People seem to think that for the most part we got it right. Doesn't mean we will stop. We'll continue to improve the game. We'll continue to push on these things, and we'll have to be very cautious about what this means for future products. So, just going to dissect that very quickly. We took very quick and drastic actions to turn everything off, and we've worked since to redesign the progression system. The progression system that they initially redesigned to be nice and in favour of these lovely, lovely loot boxes. So basically, they got caught out and had to go, oh shit, let's back up and just completely change everything. And then also they'll have to be very cautious with what this means in future products. So games like Anthem, that's due out later this year, or is it pushed to next year? Or even things like the FIFA games. Does this mean that they're gonna scale things back? Does it mean that they're gonna actually just get rid of the loot boxes? I very much doubt they'll do that in FIFA, because that's a big money pit there. To me, all it says is they're gonna just back off temporarily, see where they can push the envelope next, and just push and push and push on the bit they find until people get pissed off again. That's just what EA does. Sorry to break your bubble there, but that's what they do. So yeah, EA issued an apology, but they've reintroduced the microtransactions. So, one, I don't believe a word they fucking say, it's very disingenuous, and two, they might as well have not made the apology because they've just added the slightly less shit thing back in. So, not good, EA, not good. Positive news! Positive things! Hooray! Positive things! Very positive! Yeah, there's a positive thing happening in the game industry. Hey, who'd have known that? Sega have announced that they are going to launch a Sega Genesis Mini, or what I prefer, the British term, the Mini Mega Drive, because that just sounds more, that rolls off the tongue better. Mini Mega Drive, Mini Mega Drive, Mini Mega Drive. I find that fun. Anyway, so yeah, Sega have announced that they are launching a Mini Mega Drive to sort of, not to compete with Nintendo, but to sort of capitalize on the little market that Nintendo started out with the Mini NES and the Mini SNES. And even there's a Mini C64, Commodore 64, which is apparently okay, but not great. But yeah, this is a great thing because there's not been a properly good way of emulating old Mega Drive games outside of, there's like the Steam releases on the Sega collection and the odd 360 game. They're pretty good, but I don't think anything's quite matched it yet. So to have something like this would just be quite interesting. I'd like to see what games they put on it. Although one thing that has been confirmed is that Sonic 3 probably won't be on there because of a licensing issue with music, which is a bit strange. So Sega apparently don't own the music to Sonic 3. Who knew? Anyway, this is apparently going to be developed in conjunction with a company who last year made their own sort of version of the Genesis in a mini form, but wasn't perfect. Like, it had quite a few flaws according to most people, but I think they're using what they've made in this older mini version as a base to build on and hopefully make it better. It's going to be a completely different emulation engine, and hopefully they'll do it a bit better and fix the kinks. But anyway, and it is also, I think, confirmed that the European version will have a cartridge port. I don't know how they're going to do that on a mini version, but anyway, that's a thing. The Genesis Mini looks like it's going to be interesting. There's no set launch date yet, but keep an eye out. That brings us to the end of another GC Informer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, share, whatever you fancy. Our social links are down in the description, along with a link to our Discord where you can join us and chat with us. Stay tuned to GameCast for news, reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, and our weekly broadcast at 12 PM CST on a Saturday, where you can get to see all of our weekly content in a nice, big, lovely presented lump of content, if that is what you fancy. Anyway, I have been Snowy, and I will see you soon.